The story opens many years in the future, where America is controlled by a powerful media corporation known as the network. Most citizens live in poverty and cannot afford treatment even for minor illnesses. To keep people distracted, the network broadcasts violent game shows. The most popular of these shows is called The Running Man. In this game, contestants must stay alive for 30 days while professional hunters chase them. Anyone who survives the full period is promised a reward of $1 billion. However, no contestant has ever made it to the end. We are then introduced to a man named Ben, who has recently lost his job. He supported the creation of a workers' union, which led to him being blacklisted. Because of this, no company is willing to hire him. Ben's young daughter Kathy is sick, and he desperately needs money for her medicine. At home, his wife Sheila returns late and explains that she has taken extra shifts at a bar to earn more income. Ben is uncomfortable with this because he has seen suspicious people around that place. Trying to reassure her, Ben says she should not worry. He tells her that he will join the game show himself and win the prize money. Sheila strongly objects, knowing that contestants are often badly injured or killed. Ben promises that nothing will happen to him and claims he will choose the safest show. Ben leaves his poor neighborhood and approaches the guarded entrance of a rich district. He tells the guards that he is there for a network program, and they allow him inside. At the station, a long line of desperate people waits to be selected. Suddenly, an elderly man becomes extremely ill. Despite his condition, the man insists on continuing because he needs the money. When the old man collapses, Ben catches him and calls for help. Instead of helping, the guards accuse Ben of breaking the rules. They beat him and throw him out of the line. Later, Ben learns that a warning has been added to his file for disobeying orders. Angry and frustrated, he punches the screen in front of him. After this incident, he's given a tracking bracelet and sent to elevator 6. There, he meets Tim and Jenny, who try to befriend him. All the selected participants receive uniforms and are put through physical challenges. These tests include strange activities like endurance running. Ben helps Tim during the trials. During a break, a guard attempts to punish Ben. Ben boldly fights back and scares the guard away. More tests follow, including psychological evaluations. Ben's answers are aggressive and unfiltered. The psychologist labels him as the most unstable and rebellious contestant. Those who pass the final selection are given brightly colored jumpsuits. Ben and Jenny receive red suits with a target printed on the back. This marks them as official contestants for The Running Man. Ben is later taken to meet the show's producer, Dan. Ben asks to be transferred to a different game. Dan offers him a cash bonus to change his mind, explaining that other shows pay far less. He also explains that in The Running Man, contestants earn money for every day they survive. Dan reminds Ben that being blacklisted means he has no future job opportunities anyway. Thinking about his family and his daughter's illness, Ben signs the contract. Afterward, Ben meets a representative from the Family Alliance. According to the agreement, the network will provide protection for Ben's family while he competes. They were taken to a secure, safe house and assigned false identities. Ben wanted to see his family before the game started, but he was allowed only one phone call. He called Sheila and told her that he was entering The Running Man. He asked her not to worry and promised that he would win. That night, Ben was escorted into a luxurious room against his will. An agent delivered an envelope from Sheila. Inside were a family photograph and a small stocking from his daughter Kathy, meant to bring him luck. The next morning, Ben was given a running band. The device displayed his remaining time and the amount of money he had earned. The show officially began, and the host Bobby called Ben onto the stage. Bobby lied to the audience, claiming that Ben had worked in national defense and was arrested for selling state secrets. A fabricated video created by artificial intelligence was shown as proof. Ben begged the crowd not to believe it, but Bobby ignored him. To the outside world, The Running Man was presented as a punishment for dangerous criminals. They had no idea the contestants were desperate citizens risking their lives for their families. Viewers were even rewarded with money if they reported a player's location. When Bobby asked Ben for his final words, Ben angrily insulted both the host and the crowd. He declared that he would survive and burn the entire system to the ground. After all the contestants were introduced, Bobby explained the rules. Each player received a small cash advance and a 12-hour head start. During this time, they could hide anywhere without being hunted. 5 professional hunters would be released the following day. All players were required to record at least 10 minutes of footage every day. They had to submit the tape before midnight. If they failed to do so, the payments would stop, but the hunt would continue. The 3 contestants were then taken to a dark room in separate elevators. There, Ben was given a camera, some cash, and regular clothing. He changed quickly and exited the building. Ben immediately jumped into a taxi. The driver recognized him and asked for a photo. When Ben refused, the driver became hostile. He threatened to report Ben's location if he was not treated kindly. Ben paid the fare and got out of the car. Ben began running through the streets. He eventually reached the building where his old friend Molly lived. Molly was involved in manufacturing goods for the black market. Ben asked her for 2 fake identification cards and a weapon. Molly became furious when he realized Ben was still part of the game. He warned Ben that people were already searching for him. He accused Ben of risking his entire operation by coming there. After arguing and hearing about Kathy's illness, Molly finally agreed to help. He disguised Ben and created matching fake documents for him. Molly packed Ben's belongings into a suitcase so he would look like a traveling businessman. Before he he left, Molly gave him a warning. He told Ben to avoid poor neighborhoods where people would betray him for cash. He advised him to stay in crowded areas instead. Molly added that if Ben had asked earlier, he would have hired him as his assistant. Now, he said, the only way for Ben to survive was to win the game. In the morning, Ben headed to the train station. Posters of the 3 contestants were plastered everywhere. Ben purchased a ticket to New York and boarded the train. The moment his bracelet announced that the hunt had begun, the train pulled away from the platform. A young boy approached Ben and tried to talk to him. Ben threatened the child and scared him off. The boy later returned only to tell Ben that he was growing a mustache. Ben booked a comfortable hotel room in New York. At the front desk, the receptionist noticed that the ID photo showed a man with a mustache, while Ben's face did not. Inside the room, Ben removed his disguise and returned to his original appearance. He covered the walls and recorded a video of himself sleeping. That evening, he placed the tape into the collection box. At midnight, the bracelet announced that he had earned his first day bonus. Meanwhile, the hunters captured Molly. They tortured her until she revealed the name listed on the fake identification. The following day, the hunters stormed Ben's hotel room and shot him. Ben suddenly woke up and realized it had all been a nightmare. The television then showed live footage of Tim. Tim was flirting with a store clerk while being followed by the camera crew. As soon as he stepped outside, the hunters located him instantly. They shot him directly in the head without hesitation. After witnessing this, Ben rented a different hotel room for 3 more days. He packed his belongings into an ordinary bag. He threw the bag out of the window into a garbage container. Ben then exited the hotel calmly as if nothing was wrong. Outside, he retrieved the bag and boarded a bus to Boston. In Boston, Ben bought worn-out clothes and purchased a hostel room key from a poor man. He quietly entered the hostel and stepped into the elevator. He failed to notice the out-of-service sign posted on it. The elevator stopped suddenly between floors. Before reaching the 2nd floor, Ben had to escape and climb his way to the 3rd floor, where his room was located. Inside a box in the closet, he found chewing gum, cigarettes, and a grenade. He recorded his daily video. The bracelet reminded him to deposit the tape, but too many people were standing near the box. Ben went to the shared bathroom, preparing to take a shower. While thinking about the tape box, he suddenly realized that one of the people outside looked familiar. The man was a hunter, and more hunters were now arriving. Someone opened the bathroom door and Ben quickly hid. The hunters reached the 3rd floor and began searching the rooms. Once they moved on, Ben stepped out of the bathroom. He tried to look outside through the window to assess the situation. The window was sealed shut. Without his bag, he had no easy way to escape. Ben tore an iron rod from the wall and smashed the glass. He used chewing gum to stick shards of glass onto the rod. Now in the hallway, Ben used a mirror to track the hunters' movements. As the hunters prepared to enter his room, Ben rushed up the stairs. He shouted that the man from the TV show had escaped to the 2nd floor. He urged them to go after him. While they reacted, Ben continued running upward and reached the roof. From there, he grabbed the cable of a flashing sign and began to descend. Ben reached his room, smashed the window, and climbed inside. The sound of breaking glass alerted the hunters, who quickly turned back. Ben hurriedly got dressed and gathered his belongings. As gunfire erupted outside the door, he leapt out of the window and grabbed another cable. The hanging sign began to tilt dangerously. At that moment, Ben spotted a hunter waiting below for him to fall. With no escape left, Ben shattered the window of a nearby room and jumped inside. The network's drone continued tracking his every move. Ben sprinted down the hallway while the hunters fired at him. He reached the elevator, seized the drone, and slammed it into the control panel. The live feed cut out and the elevator system restarted. In the lobby, a hunter lunged at him. Ben grabbed a grenade and threw it through a hole in the ceiling. The blast was massive, sending the elevator crashing down into the basement. Now left with only a single matchbox, Ben tore pages from a magazine and lit them for light. As he moved forward, he accidentally ignited a rope, spreading the fire further. The hunters closed in through the corridor. Ben dragged furniture to block the door and crawled into the pigsty, following the rats. The hunters opened fire blindly. One of the bullets struck a gas pipe, triggering a huge explosion in the basement. The flames spread into the tunnel, forcing Ben to dive deeper into the pigsty. Moments later, the entire building exploded. When Ben finally emerged onto the street, he encountered a young boy named Stacy. Ben threatened him, warning that he would be in trouble if he told anyone. Stacy calmly replied that he only wanted to help. Ben checked his bracelet. He learned that many people had died in the explosion. The device also showed that he had earned a large amount of money. Shortly afterward, Stacy returned with his older brother, Brad. Brad took Ben to his home and gave him food. Brad also had a sick child. Despite his hardship, he refused to accept any money. He hated the network and wanted nothing connected to it. Brad showed Ben a hidden room. Inside, Brad secretly recorded and uploaded detailed analyses of Running Man episodes. Captured players were displayed publicly, making secrecy the key to survival. Brad advised Ben to stay hidden with him and prepare for the final day. The next morning, Ben learned about the growing growing violence and suffering in the area. The government was doing nothing, choosing instead to cover everything up. Enraged, Ben recorded a message accusing the government of killing children. He said those in power did not care about ordinary people. Later, during the broadcast, Bobby appeared with a group of children. He claimed they were orphans of those killed in the explosion. Bobby edited Ben's message and aired it as if Ben were mocking the children. Ben tried to explain that the footage was manipulated. Brad's mother became furious and threw Ben out of the house without listening. Brad and Stacy still chose to help him. They hid Ben inside the trunk of a car. Everything seemed normal as they drove away. Suddenly, gunshots rang out. Two bikers were chasing them and opened fire on the trunk. Ben opened the trunk and hurled a tool straight at a biker's face, knocking him down. The other bikers continued firing. Ben ducked back into the trunk as Brad slammed on the brakes. The bikers could not stop in time and crashed into the car. Brad then accelerated forward, crushing both of them, and escaped. Brad dropped Ben off outside the city. He gave him a gun and the address of his friend Elton. After a short train ride, Ben hid in another hotel. There, he watched his latest tape being aired on television. He knew the network would manipulate the footage anyway. That was why he had recorded himself simply reading a book. Bobby also aired Jenny's tape, which showed her partying at a nightclub. Later, Ben disguised himself and went to deposit the day's tape. A mailman standing near the box became suspicious of him. He moved close to Ben and secretly recorded him under the pretense of conversation. Ben suddenly attacked the man. He quickly dropped the tape into the box and ran. The mailman chased him onto the tracks. Ben sprinted through the woods, crossed a fence, and jumped onto a moving train. The mailman fired a shot, but Ben managed to escape. Sometime later, Ben disguised himself as a crippled man. He limped and blended into a crowd watching a street performance. Meanwhile, Jenny was captured inside a casino. She tried to escape in a car. Two men set the vehicle on fire, killing her. Later, Ben finally met Elton. Elton lived with his mother and warned Ben that she was mentally unstable. He advised him not to react to her behavior. Elton led Ben to a hidden room. There, he secretly printed pamphlets opposing the network. Elton explained that his father had been a police officer. He was killed by his own colleagues for speaking against the system. Since then, Elton had become a rebel. Elton revealed that street lamps across the country were fitted with scanners. These devices could detect even the smallest traces of DNA. Because of this, Ben needed to stay underground. Elton's father had built a bunker during the Cold War. Elton suggested that Ben hide there and survive until the final day. He also asked Ben to help spread the rebel newsletter once he won and gained public attention. Ben spent the night in the secret room and recorded his tape. The next morning, as he went to deliver it, Elton's mother saw the recording. She immediately recognized Ben and tried to report him. Elton stopped her at first. However, she decided this was her chance to avenge her husband. She contacted the police herself. Soon, the house was surrounded by officers. Gunfire ripped through the walls. The mother tried to reveal Ben and Elton's location. Elton locked her in a room and activated his traps. When the police entered, Elton poured water onto exposed electric wires on the floor. Several officers were hit with powerful electric shocks. Elton and Ben then smashed through the wall of the secret room and escaped. As the police pursued them, Elton's traps sprayed chemicals at the officers. The chemicals ignited, setting the area on fire. Another trap was triggered on the staircase. The wooden steps collapsed, sending several officers falling down. Elton led Ben into the bathroom. They slid down a hidden pole inside the shower. In the next room, Elton revealed a concealed door in the floor. Both of them quickly climbed down into an underground tunnel. A stalker was already waiting there. He suddenly stabbed Elton and then attacked Ben. A violent fight broke out. Ben was cut on the hand but managed to overpower his attacker. Elton grabbed a knife and stabbed the hunter in the leg, forcing him to collapse. The injured hunter then received a call from Dan. Dan demanded to speak directly with Ben. Ben asked why, with all their advanced technology, the network did not simply fake the entire show. Dan replied that they had considered it. He explained that computer-generated people were not as entertaining as real humans. They lacked genuine emotion and personality. Dan then ordered Ben to kill the hunter so the drone could capture it and boost the ratings. Ben refused. Instead, he raised his weapon and shot the drone out of the air. Elton and Ben forced their way out through a car door and escaped. They ran toward the forest, but a helicopter pursued them from above. Elton told Ben to leave him behind and reach the shelter alone. Before Ben could respond, a sniper shot from the helicopter struck Elton in the head, killing him instantly. The hunters surrounded Ben. They were under strict orders not to shoot him. The network wanted him captured alive and executed on camera. The vehicle nearby was wired with explosives. Ben drove it onto a bridge and leapt out. The car slammed into a hunter and exploded, then plunged into the river below. His bracelet confirmed another bonus for killing a hunter. Ben made his way through villages and open fields to reach the bunker. He soon discovered that the government had destroyed it to build a new city. With nowhere else to go, Ben spent the night in an abandoned house. He imagined his family, and the vision gave him the strength to continue. When the police later arrived, they found Ben's latest tape. It included instructions to mail it. Ben smashed the window of the first car he saw and climbed inside. A young woman named Amelia was sitting in the driver's seat. Ben threatened her and demanded that she drive faster. Police vehicles and drones quickly began chasing them. After narrowly avoiding several crashes, Amelia suddenly turned onto the opposite side of the road. The risky move allowed them to escape for a short time. During the drive, Amelia angrily told Ben that he was a terrible person. Ben showed her a photograph of his family. He explained how the network used fake footage to hide the truth from the public. Suddenly, the car's artificial intelligence system was hacked. The vehicle swerved out of control. Two hunters arrived in a truck attempting to capture Ben. A drone opened fire on them instead, destroying the truck in a massive explosion. This made it clear that Dan wanted Ben alive to keep the show exciting. On television, a fake video aired showing Amelia screaming for help. Amelia finally understood what Ben was trying to prove. They continued driving as people along the roadside began cheering and supporting them. At last, they reached a roadblock. The leader of the hunters stood waiting. Multiple drones were recording the scene. Ben pretended to be holding a bomb. He threatened to kill civilians live on national television. Ben demanded a plane and 2 parachutes. The hunters were ordered to accept his terms. At the airport, Ben told Amelia that she was free to leave. Amelia refused, saying she could not walk away after seeing the truth. Once on the plane, Ben asked the hunter leader to remove his mask. The man refused at first. When Dan ordered him to comply, he had no choice. The cameras captured his face, revealing his identity as Ivan. Ben soon realized the pilots were not ordinary crew members. They were also part of the system and intended to kill him. Ben warned them to fly the plane to Canada or he would blow it up. During the flight, Ben confronted Ivan. He accused him of murdering innocent people and asked if he felt any shame. The tension escalated and the two were close to fighting. Amelia suddenly pretended to panic about the bomb. At that moment, Dan appeared on the screen. He announced that the plane had been scanned and no bomb was detected. Ivan raised his weapon, preparing to shoot Ben. The pilots aimed their guns at Ivan instead. Dan scolded Ivan, saying Ben was supposed to be killed on camera in a dramatic way. Dan then contacted Ben privately. He offered him a deal. If Ben killed Ivan and the pilots, he could become a new hunter. In return, he would earn millions every year. Ben refused without hesitation. Dan then showed a video of Sheila and Kathy being killed by hunters. The sight drove Ben into a rage. He screamed and smashed the screen in front of him. Amelia turned on another screen. Bobby was broadcasting clips of Ben's family. He claimed the hunters, furious at Ben, had broken all the rules. He admitted they had killed his family. The audience immediately turned in Ben's favor. One of the pilots realized the situation was changing and raised his gun. Ben shot him first and used his body as a shield. The second pilot fired wildly. A brutal fight broke out inside the cockpit. Ben fought desperately, killing everyone in his way. During the chaos, the plane lost stability and began to descend. After a struggle, Ben grabbed his weapon and shot the hunter in the head. The network crew regained partial control and the plane leveled out. Later, Ben discovered Ivan hiding inside a hatch. Ivan suddenly attacked him. Another fierce fight followed. Blinded by rage, Ben smashed Ivan's head into a mirror. Ivan grabbed a shard of broken glass and stabbed Ben in the stomach. He revealed that he had once been a contestant himself. Ivan said he survived for 29 days. That was why the network offered him a deal to become a hunter. Ivan explained that the network could torture or kill families if necessary. He claimed the footage Ben had seen might have been fake. He asked Ben if he still did not understand how the system worked. As Ivan prepared to shoot Ben, the plane suddenly lurched. It smashed into a window and began a rapid descent. Ivan tried to fire again. Ben realized Ivan had taken the parachute. Ben pulled the handle. The parachute deployed and became tangled in the shattered window. Taking advantage of the situation, Ben stabbed Ivan to death. He handed Amelia a bag containing Elton's rebel newsletters. Ben opened the plane door and parachuted her to safety. A drone pursued Amelia. She cursed at it and scattered the newsletters into the air. On television, Dan announced that Ben had become the new hunter. Ben spoke directly to the camera. He told the audience that the network controlled society. He urged people to stop watching and to fight against those in power. The network cut the signal immediately. Dan quickly edited the footage to make it appear that Ben had deliberately crashed the plane into a crowd. The audience saw the plane approach a station and explode in midair. Sometime later, Brad analyzed the episode. He noticed numerous inconsistencies in the story, suggesting the broadcast could not be true. The public became enraged. The plane's black box was recovered, and the original video was leaked online. Thanks to Ben's message and Elton's newsletters, society began supporting the revolution. People turned against the network. Brad also noted that the plane lacked an auto-eject seat, hinting that Ben might still be alive. Meanwhile, Sheila and Kathy were at the market, seemingly safe. They enjoyed a comfortable life thanks to Ben's earnings. As they exited, they were shocked to see Ben waiting for them outside. At the TV station, host Bobby, terrified by the angry mob, quit his job. When Dan appeared on stage, people began throwing bombs at him. The rebels stormed the building, causing chaos and destruction. Dan tried to escape, but became entangled in a cable and fell, then emerged from the fire. He shot Dan directly in the head. He vowed to destroy the entire corrupt system. If you liked the video, please like it. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.